One should take care to prevent bleeding in the operating room and even control it once it occurs. Pre-operatively, it is best to optimize the patient and to check the lab values. When one has a normal CBC and coagulation profile, there are less chances of bleeding. One should even avoid blunt avulsion of structures during dissection and apply safe and selective energy to structures, ligate vessels if they are very large. The mechanical methods of hemostasis act by maintaining the vasoconstriction. They even promote platelet aggregation and fibrin formation by causing endothelial injury. Direct pressure applied by the digits or even the instruments such as hemostats causes a tamponade. This stops the bleeding and helps one to visualize the area to control the hemorrhage. Ligatures and endoloops are applied to bulky structures. One should remember to avoid traction or else the knots get loose. Bulky pedicles are safer transfixed. Energy devices deliver electrical energy and cause thermal destruction, which is temperature dependent. At 45 degrees Celsius, just like a warm cup of coffee or taking a warm shower, the collagen uncoils and re-anneals. Therefore, there is no damage to the tissues. At 60 degrees Celsius, the tissues get visibly blanched and they get white. This is due to coagulation necrosis that occurs. At 80 degrees Celsius, there is a carbonization and tissues get black. Between 90 to 100 degrees Celsius, the cells vaporize, and this is what occurs during the cutting. Beyond 120 degrees Celsius, there is an oxidation of proteins, lipids to form an eschar. Now imagine that the distance traveled is the voltage, the amount of cars that can travel on the road are the current, and the speed that they travel are the frequency. For cutting, one would require a very high frequency, high speed, but a very short distance to be traveled. So it is something like you're launching a rocket into space. This is what happens during cutting. One uses a temperature of 90 to 120 at very high frequency with very low voltage. So the cells vaporize before getting coagulated. For coagulation, one uses a very low frequency but a very high voltage. So it's a long road traveling at low speed, so they generate a lot of heat. Coagulation can mimic cutting if one is holding a very small surface. Some cautions to be used while using cautery. First of all, the cautery tip is quite hot, so immediately after cauterization, avoid touching vital structures such as peritoneum or bowel or vessels, because they can tend to get burned and the injuries are usually unnoticed immediately during the OR. Second of all, grip as minimal tissue as possible while using coagulation to avoid energy dispersion. And this is the very reason one uses very large cautery pads to prevent cautery burns. Metals are good conductors of electricity. If one uses bipolar coagulation over clips or staplers, the machine senses rapid passage of current between the blades, and therefore it senses as though the coagulation is complete and the coagulation stops. If one de-engages the bipolar, no coagulation has occurred, and this is the reason the bleeding will continue. Thus, one should avoid using bipolar over metals or clips or staplers. In the monopolar cautery, the current passes from the electrosurgical unit to the probe, to the cautery pad and back to the ESU. The bipolar cautery is a forceps type arrangement in which the probe and the pad is on either sides of the forceps. The ligashore is a bipolar cautery in which the amount of electrical current is modulated based on the tissue resistance. The lesser the resistance, the lesser the current that is transmitted, therefore giving a safe coagulation. But the caution here is to not use it over the clips, or else it leads to an error because of a rapid transmission of current. The piezoelectric effect occurs when a crystal vibrates at a very high frequency if current is passed through it. Alternatively, if the crystal is made to vibrate, it generates electricity. The harmonic scalpel uses a piezoelectric crystal which vibrates at the rate of 55,000 Hz. When it is joined to the metal, the rate of vibration reduces to 20,000 Hz due to the weight of the metal. This high frequency causes hemostasis and cutting at the same time. Tissue glue is medical grade cyanoacrylate, which seals the bleeding surfaces. Surgicel is oxidized reconstituted cellulose. It is available in various forms: regular, new-knit and fibrillar. It forms a matrix and also has a foreign body effect, thereby causing hemostasis by both activation of the platelets and the extrinsic system. It slowly dissolves over time. Topical thrombin is a biological method to cause hemostasis. It activates fibrinogen to form fibrin clot, but the danger is that if it enters the large vessels, it can cause DIC. Flow seal, as the name suggests, stops the flow and forms a seal. It's a combination of gel foam, which forms a matrix and also excites the extrinsic pathway, and fibrin, which forms the clot and forms a seal. Vitagel is a combination of both bovine and human factors. One can remember the mnemonic, "Fill your plate with tasty cow." The patient's blood is centrifuged to get the fibrinogen and platelets, and this is combined with bovine collagen and thrombin. All four of these get together to promote coagulation. Post-operatively, one should monitor the patient by checking the vitals and the hemoglobin, and also use clinical acumen to decide whether one can just transfuse blood and its products or shift the patient to the OR for hemostasis.